Hey guys, so welcome to my new YouTube studio space. Same room as I had been in, but I recently did basically an entire remodel of this space, and I wanted to show you guys what I did and why and how, and the thought process behind that in case any of you guys are thinking about changing your studio space or setting up a studio space in the space that you already have. So like I said, I'm gonna walk you through it. What I typically do with this studio, it's for video and also photography, but primarily for YouTube videos as my main shot in my videos. And so here's what it looked like before. So this is what the studio setup looked like before we painted and changed things around. And here's where we've ended up now. So like I said, I'm gonna walk you guys through the whole process, my tips and insights for you through what I did in my space, also show you kind of the gear and everything that I'm using, and I hope it helps out. So I'm actually really fortunate to have a room that's dedicated entirely to being a studio space. This room is about 8 feet by 10 feet, and I'm going to show you how I have it set up right now and some of what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So first of all, right here I have my camera set up. This is the Canon EOS R, that's my main camera. So right now I'm filming on my other camera, the SL2 or 200D. And this is where I film all of like the talking head stuff for my YouTube channel. I have the Video Mic Pro Plus from Rode right here. That's my mic that I use. So like I said, I'm using backup mic and camera and everything to film this part. This is the main light source that I use for lighting my videos. It's a Godox XL60W. It's a really great budget option for lighting. Another thing that I use for lighting is right here. And this is just a really cheap lighting setup I got on Amazon when I first started making videos. Wouldn't suggest it, but I have it and it was just sitting around. So right now I'm using it to bounce off of this reflector back here, and use it as kind of a rim light for my talking head. And here's the backdrop that you usually see me talking in front of, and as you can tell, it's literally a backdrop. It's not very big. I tried to save money by doing a do-it-yourself backdrop stand that I made out of PVC. If you're interested in doing that, there's videos with instructions and stuff on YouTube. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it because there are really cheap actual backdrops, and the really cheap backdrops are not high quality, but neither is this. So I wouldn't suggest it. If I was in the same position again, I wouldn't go with this option. But it's an option if you're really trying to save a couple dollars, I guess. The walls in here are like this really dingy off-white, and it causes the light bouncing off the walls to give just like weird off colors, and it makes it really hard to white balance and get decent colors in this room. Not necessarily the first thing you would think about when setting up like a video studio or photo studio, but it's definitely one thing that I would recommend you think about is the color of your walls. Easiest is to go with neutral colors, white, black, gray, something, or something at least that matches the skin tones. Alright, so the space is painted, and I'm going to start bringing stuff back in here and setting up for the new studio space. One thing that you can probably already tell, the acoustics in here right now are pretty terrible. The room's empty, so that's making it worse. Alright, so we've got the room painted, we've got stuff set up behind me now, and it's already starting to look a lot better. I do only have the overhead lights on in this room, which is not ideal lighting. I actually have pretty decent bulbs in here, so the color tone is not too bad. But if we set up some more video-centric lights, we're gonna get rid of some of these weird shadows, and I think we can also add a little bit more depth. So now I have kind of a key light set up, A key light is gonna be like your main source of light to light whatever your subject is. I have it just a little bit off over here in this direction. The reason I do it that way is because of these glasses. They catch crazy reflections from the light. Typically that would actually look really cool because you'd get a nice catch light in the eyes, but with these glasses, it just gets kind of an annoying glare look on them. So I have it over here off to the side a little bit more to avoid a lot of that glare. So I have this umbrella over the Godox light that's making the light source softer, but as you can tell, because it's so far over to the side, it's giving it a really contrasty look. And typically what you would do is maybe have a fill light if you wanted to get a little bit less contrast. What I'm doing is kind of in between a fill light and a rim light. I'm kind of getting a little bit of an effect of both with this next light. So typically a fill light would come from the opposite side of the key light, be less power and just fill in some of the shadows. And then typically a rim light would come from behind your subject, lighting up maybe the shoulders, the back of the head, the hair, and that's there to kind of provide some depth from your subject and whatever's in the background. So the setup I have here is set up to function as a rim light, but because of the way that it's set up, it's not directly behind me. It's also giving a lot of fill light as well. So it kind of hits the purpose of both of those lights. The way I have it set up is with this older softbox and studio light setup. I can't control the power output with this. So instead I have it pointed away from me and into a reflector. And the reflector is gonna bounce light in the direction that I want it to come from. And also I'm gonna lose a lot of power output, so it's not gonna be overpowering. And then this is what it looks like with that rim slash fill light coming in. Again, it's softening up some of the shadows on this side of my face and also lighting up the back of me a little bit, which is providing some separation from the background. Now there's also a little bit of light spill from this light source coming into the table in the background, but I think it looks fine and I'm okay with that. The next thing I want to do is just give some accent lighting in the back to just kind of make the background feel a little bit more interesting. So I have some fairy lights just set up right behind the things that are on my desk, and I'm just gonna leave those on. That's what it looks like with the fairy lights turned on. Not a huge difference, just makes the background look a little bit more interesting. The next thing you want to think about is sound. Sound is really important when recording video. Typically, people will be more willing to forgive bad video than they will bad audio. So one of the best things that you can do is just put the mic as close as you can to your subject. So right now, my mic is right here, just barely out of frame. And that's gonna get it as close as I can to me. And that's just gonna decrease all of the other noise from anything around the room, echoes, and that kind of thing. This side is what I plan to be using for these kind of talking head parts of videos. And on this side, I actually kept that background that I was using, and I plan to use that for photography, like product shots and stuff, and also for like filming B-roll and that kind of thing. So now this studio space has kind of a dual purpose. So one thing that I actually just got in that I think I'm gonna end up using in here to give a little bit more dimension to the shot is this Aperture MC light. So far, I really like this. It's really versatile, and I'm just gonna use it to add a little bit of color in the background. So let's see what that looks like. So here's the final product. Like I said, I'm really happy with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe it gave you some tips or ideas that you can use for your own space. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Put in the comments below what you're doing with your space, if you're changing, if you're creating a new space, what you think about this new space. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. See you guys.